Drawing this iced coffee in Procreate is easier than you think, and I'm going to show you step by step how you can draw it even if you're a beginner in digital art. If you enjoyed this video and would like to draw more of me, make sure to check out my Patreon, where I have more step-by-step tutorials like this and many Procreate brushes. Link is in the description. Before you start, make sure to download the color palette and that you have all my free brushes. Everything is linked in the description of this video. So now, grab your drawing tools, relax, and let's start. Let's make a new canvas, A4 canvas from Procreate. And first we can color the background in a dark color. Let's open the layers, go to the background color, and now let's take here color number 9. Okay, and then tap on Done. On this first layer, we can draw the ellipses for the top of the glass, and then here at the bottom, for the part that the glass is standing on. Let's pick a color for this. Let's take color number 7. And let's pick a brush. Let's go to calligraphy and take monoline brush. We can use here small brush size, 2%. And let's draw here an ellipse. So draw it like this. Hold your pencil on the screen to make a nice ellipse. And now you can put your finger here to make this horizontal. Let's make it maybe about this size. And now we're going to put it in the middle of the canvas. Let's take the arrow tool. At the bottom, let's pick uniform option and turn on snapping. Now we can move this and it will snap here to the middle of the canvas. Okay. Let's tap here to finish this. We are going to draw the second ellipse on a new layer, so we can later also easily move it to the middle of the canvas. So let's make a new layer. And let's draw an ellipse. Let's make this one a little bit more open, this way. So like this. And again, let's take the arrow tool and move it here to the middle of the canvas. Okay, tap here to finish this. I think I'm going to move this one a little bit higher. So I will go back to this layer, take the arrow tool and move it higher, making sure that it will stay here still on that middle line. I think this position is better. Okay, now we can merge those two layers together. So those two ellipses will be on the same layer. We can just pinch them together like this. Okay, and now we are going to duplicate this layer, just in case we need to use those ellipses later. So let's swipe it to the left and pick here duplicate. Let's hide this one. So now we'll just work on this one layer over here. Now we can draw here the sides of the glass. Let's do it on a new layer. And we want to draw them symmetrically, so to do this we can turn on the symmetry. Let's go to the Actions menu, Canvas, turn on Drawing Guide, and then tap on Edit Drawing Guide. At the bottom over here, let's pick Symmetry, and in the options, make sure Vertical is selected. We have to tap somewhere here on this colorful line, so we can see this line here better. Let's tap on Done. Now when you open the layers, this should say here Assisted, and if it doesn't, you can tap here and make sure the Drawing Assist is on. So now we can just draw the side of the glass. If you think that your lines are shaky, you can adjust here one setting. Go to the Actions menu, Preferences, Pressure and Smoothing, and then you can make the stabilization a higher number. I will make it 32.6, and this way I can draw lines that will be less shaky and will look nicer. So draw a shape more or less like this. Now again, we are going to duplicate this layer. Let's swipe on it to the left and pick Duplicate. And we can put it here at the bottom, and we are going to hide it just to keep it for later, just in case. So now we have here those two layers, and we can merge them together. Let's pinch them like this, and again we can save this shape for later. So let's duplicate this and hide this. Okay, now we can start coloring this. To do it easily, we can set this layer as reference. Let's tap here and pick reference. And now let's make a new layer and put it under that reference layer. And this way we can fill this space with one color. Let's take the color. It will be color number 1. We can just drag and drop it in here. Now we have to erase here the bottom part of it to create here a shape like this, and then also a little bit on top. So let's take the eraser, let's tap on it, set it to the same brush, so monoline brush from calligraphy. We can make the brush size bigger, maybe 67, and just erase here this bottom part now, following the shape of the glass, so like this. Okay, let's erase here all of this. And for the top, we can follow here the shape of the glass, the top of the glass. So let's just draw here an arc like this. You can hold your pencil on the screen and just erase here now this top part. Now let's make a new layer to draw here the top part of the coffee. I hope this makes sense. Let's make a new layer. We can put this layer under the one that we're just drawing on. Let's take the brush and let's draw here an oval shape like this. Again, let's make it horizontal. And we can now tap here and move it over here, so it will match the shape of the glass. Okay, tap with your finger on the screen to finish this, and we have to color this inside. But first we have to turn off the reference on this layer. So let's tap here, tap again and turn off the reference. Now let's go to the new layer and color this inside. Okay, now we can add here the fun colorful effect on the coffee. Let's go to this layer and let's make a new layer on top of this one, and we are going to set it as clipping mask. So let's tap here and pick clipping mask, and this means that whatever we'll draw here now will be visible only on that shape that is on the layer underneath. We are going to add here a bunch of colors. Let's take first color, take color number 2. We can make the brush size now 100%. And let's draw here a line along the top edge, like this. Now we can add here a shape like that. We are going to scribble here few shapes in different colors. Let's do like that. Okay, now let's take next color. Color number 3. Let's add it in a few places. Okay, next one, color number 4. We can add this here at the top of the coffee, like this. A little bit here, maybe here. Okay. Now next color, color number 5. Let's add some of this more here at the bottom. And just a tiny bit here on top. Okay. And this will be enough. Now we're going to blend those colors together, creating here a nice swirly shape. To do it, we are going to go to the adjustments and take here liquify. At the bottom, let's pick twirl right, or you can pick twirl left. We can make the size 53, pressure 48, distortion 23, and momentum 63. So now we can just tap here on the screen and create here nice effects like this. Make sure to edit here everywhere, so you don't have here any spaces left without this effect. So you should have something like this. We can tap here to finish this. And now we can blur this, so those colors are not so sharp. Let's take the Gaussian blur and swipe your pencil on the screen to add the blur size. And we can add here maybe 5–6%. I think I will use here 5%. Okay. And now again we can take the liquify. And now we can use here option push. And if you want, you can still push here some design like this. So you can kind of more control how this will look. You can make the brush size smaller here. So this size here at the bottom, now I will make it 35 and maybe push it around like this. Get some of this white color in here. Okay, I'm happy with this. Let's tap here to finish this. Let's add here now new layer, and we can still add here some more colors and maybe be more precise where we want to have them. So let's make a new layer, set it as clipping mask. Let's take the color number 2. And now we can change the brush. Let's go here to my Siakulaart special brushes and take soft tapered. Let's make the brush size 10%, brush opacity 79, and I would like to add this color here to the top edge of the coffee, like this. And now we can just scribble here some more of this color. Just try to follow more or less this design. Make sure this will look natural. So don't go here and do a crazy shape like this, for example, yes? Do it very lightly, add it in few places. Let's change the color. Let's take color number 4. I'm going to add it here again, more at the top edge of the coffee. I want this to be darker here. Okay. And now maybe a little bit more here. And now let's take another color number 6. And with this color we can add here maybe a darker spot like this. So this will look like there's an ice cube visible over here. Maybe we can add it also over here, this darker color. And then a little bit still at the top edge, like this. Maybe a little bit here. Okay, and one more color now, color number 5. I'm going to make here the bottom part maybe still a little bit brighter. So I'm going to go here like this, add some more of this color. Okay, I like it now like this. We can turn down the opacity of this layer. So this way we get here more color variation. Let's make it maybe 85. And we can blur this just a little bit. So let's go to the adjustments, take Gaussian blur, and let's make your blur size 4%. Let's tap here to finish this. And now we can add some colors to the top part of the coffee. So let's go to this layer over here. Let's make a new layer on top, set it as clipping mask, and let's take the color. Let's take your color number 2. We can make your brush size bigger. Let's make it maybe 25. And we can just add it here like that. This part mostly will not be visible. We are going to add here some foam and then ice cubes. Now let's take another color, color number 4. Maybe let's make the brush size smaller for this, 12%. And we can just add it here like that, just so there's more colors over here. And let's take color number 5. We can add just a little bit here of this. Okay, let's also blur this. Let's go to the adjustments and take Gaussian blur. Let's make your blur size 4%. Okay, let's tap here to finish this. And now we can add here that foam that will go here above the coffee layer. So for this we can make a new layer. We can use this color, color number 5. And with the same brush that we have now, let's make the brush opacity 100%. We can just draw here a shape like this. Okay, don't worry, you're coming here outside. We can clean this up in a second. Same here to the back side of the coffee. On the glass over here, the back side of the glass. So just like that. Let's add here some more colors now. Let's take color number 3. We can add it here just a little bit, like that. Same over here in the back. And another color now, color number 1. Let's also add it just a little bit. Okay, and now we can add here a nice effect that it's more like kind of like a foamy. For this we can use the smudge tool. Let's tap on it again. And let's change your brush. Let's go to my siakulaart special brushes. And we can take here this one, tiny splashes. Let's make the brush size small, 7%, brush opacity 100%. And we can kind of smudge this out here a little bit like this. Okay, now let's change the brush. Let's go here to spray pens. And we can take fat nozzle with the brush size 4%, brush opacity 100. Let's do it again, like this. Okay, and now let's change the brush again. Let's take here flicks. Let's make it small, 2%. And again, let's go here both ways. So kind of outside of the shape and inside. To make it look nicer, we can make a new layer on top of this. Set it as clipping mask. We are going to change your blending mode to overlay. And let's take here color number 4. Let's take a brush. We can take here this one. Let's paint from my siakulaart special brushes with the brush size 7%, brush opacity 100%. We can just add this here a little bit at the bottom edge, like this. Now let's change the color. Let's take color number 6. And again, we can add it over here. And now let's change the brush. Let's go to spray pens and take flicks. With the brush size small, 3%. Let's just add it here, kind of all over this, to add here some more texture. Okay. And now let's turn down the opacity of this. So let's tap here and make it barely visible, maybe about 43%. And we can add here one more layer, set it as clipping mask. We are going to change this one now to multiply. And with this color, color number 1, let's change the brush. Let's go here and take my soft taper brush from Siakulaart Special Brushes. With the brush size 14, we can again make this here darker, somewhere on this side, closer to the bottom edge of this foam. So like that. And now let's take another color, color number 2. We can add it here. And turn down the opacity. Let's make this maybe like 39%. And now, so there is no such a sharp edge between the coffee and the foam, we have to make one more layer. We're going to set it as clipping mask. And we are going to manually pick now this color over here, that is by the edge of the foam, and kind of draw with this here, like this. So those shapes will kind of blend together, but you can still see that they're, let's say, separate. You can again pick the color here by the edge and draw like this. Let's give here a small blur. So let's go to adjustments and take Gaussian blur. And let's do it 2%. Okay, and now we have to erase here this foam that is outside of the glass. For this, we can select the shape of the glass, the outside of it. So let's go to this top layer over here. We can take the selection tool. At the bottom, let's pick automatic. Make sure color fill is off. Let's tap here on the outside of this shape. And with this selected, let's go to the shape of the foam. So it's this layer over here. And let's tap on it and pick here clear. Okay, before we add here a glass effect, let's draw some ice cubes. Let's make a new layer, and we are going to put this layer over here, so right under this big coffee shape. Let's turn off clipping mask. Let's pick the color, take color number 8, and let's pick a brush. Let's go here to calligraphy and monoline brush, and with the brush size 35, we can draw here a shape of an ice cube. Make sure not to draw here on top of the foam. Something like this. Let's color this inside. And maybe one more somewhere over here. So like this. Let's fix here the bottom edge of this, so this will look nicer here against this foam. For this, let's take the smudge tool. Let's tap on it. And let's use here this fat nozzle brush. With the brush size 3%, we can kind of take it back here like this. push it inside this shape. So it looks like it's actually behind this foam over here. Okay, and now let's add here some colors to this. We're going to make a new layer on top of this one. Let's set it as clipping mask and let's pick a color. Let's take color number 7 and we can draw here some shapes like this, some kind of reflections on these ice cubes. Now let's make the brush opacity smaller, 59, so we can get here more color variation this way. And now we can make the brush opacity even smaller. Let's make it 15, so it will be barely visible, but it's still there. Okay, let's blur this. So let's go to the adjustments and take Gaussian blur. Let's add here blur size 6%. Let's tap here to finish this. And now let's make a new layer on top of this one. Set it as clipping mask. And we're going to add here some more colors by changing the blending mode of this to overlay. Let's take here color number 9. We can make the brush opacity bigger now. Let's make it 59. And we can draw here a little bit like that. Just scribble on top of this. Okay. And now let's make the opacity 100%. And add some more of this. This way we are creating here more colors using just one color. Okay. So just like that. And now we can blur this. So let's go here and take Gaussian blur. Let's make it 6%. Okay, and tap here to finish this. We can maybe turn down the opacity of this layer over here. So let's tap here and let's make it here maybe like 88%. Okay, now we can add here the glass. So for this we need to color all of this glass shape in white color. Let's make here a new layer on top of everything here. And I had already this layer, I'm going to delete it. This is empty, I made it by mistake earlier. So we want to color this shape in white color. So now to color this glass and have here just one shape, we can go to this layer over here. And we're going to select outside of this first. Let's take the selection tool. With the automatic option and color fill off, let's tap here on the outside. And now we want to select actually the whole shape of the glass. So we have to tap here on invert, like this. And with this selected, we can go to our new layer, this one. Let's pick the color. Let's take color number 7. Let's open the layers again. Tap on this layer and pick here fill layer. So now we have here this whole shape in this color. We can turn off here our outlines. Let's tap here and turn it off. And now we are going to erase most of this shape to reveal our coffee here. So let's take the eraser. Let's tap on it again. And we can set it to airbrushing and soft brush. Let's make the brush size maybe like 17. And let's start erasing here from the middle like this to reveal this coffee. Okay. Keep a little bit of the color on the edges. Let's make the brush size now smaller, 5%. And now we can be more precise here. We can erase here this top edge like this. Go here closer to the edges. Let's erase here this top. You can keep some white color around the edges of the glass. And don't worry, we can bring back here this rim part in a second. Over here where we have the ice cube, we can make the brush size smaller, 2%, and erase this more precisely. Okay. And now let's make the brush size bigger again, maybe 5%, and keep erasing here this bottom part, like that. And here we can start shaping this part of the glass. So let's erase it like this, very lightly. Let's make the brush size smaller now, 2%. And you can erase here a little bit harder to make sure this looks like the glass is really clear over here. Make sure to draw here those lines in the ellipse shapes. And don't worry if you will erase too much, we are going to add some of that white color again here. So you should have something like this now. We can bring back now this top rim over here. And for this, we are going to use here our layer that we saved at the start. So this one. Let's duplicate it. We can put it here now on top, over here. Let's bring it back. And now let's take the eraser. And we can erase this where it's too strong. And of course here, so this ice cube is in front of this part. So let's erase it like that. So this will blend here nicely with the whole glass. Okay. Over here we shouldn't see this. And let's erase here this edge, so it will look nice here. And now on a new layer, we can create here some reflections on this glass. So let's make a new layer. And we want to draw now only in this glass shape. So again, we can use here the outlines to select this shape. Let's bring it back for a second. Let's tap here, go to the selection, tap on the outside, now tap on invert. Let's open the layers. Right away we can hide this and go here to our new layer. Let's pick a brush. Let's go to my Siakulaart special brushes and take soft tapered. And we can draw here now some reflection. Let's make the brush size 13 and just draw them here like this. Follow the shape of the glass when you draw them. We are going to turn down the opacity of this, so don't worry if this is maybe too strong now. I'm going to make the brush size bigger now, 27. And maybe add here a little bit more of this, like this. On this side. And then here fade this away nicer. I can draw now also here a little bit by the edge. I'll make the brush size smaller for this, 4%. And just draw here a little bit. Same here on the back side. And now here at the bottom part of the glass, we can add here lines again. So you can actually see that this is that bottom part of the glass. Let's make the brush size maybe bigger for this, 10%. And just draw here some lines like this. Okay, we can add here a very small blur. So let's go to the adjustments and take Gaussian blur. Let's make it 3%. And now let's turn down the opacity of this layer. I'm going to make it here 65. And I'm going to go back here to this layer with the glass color. And I will still erase some more over here. So I'll take the eraser. And with a bigger brush size, 9%, I will still erase here this, make it look more clear. Okay, and then I will erase here those rim parts a little bit, so they're less visible. So like this. And now let's keep it selected, and we can add here an extra highlight. Let's make a new layer for this. We can put this layer here above this one. Let's set this layer here as add. Let's take the brush and we can add here way brighter highlight like this. I'll make the brush size bigger, 24, and draw with it here like that. So there's some nice light going here on this glass. We can also add this here at this part, just a little bit. We can add a little bit of the light on the ice cubes. Over here like this. And now let's turn down the opacity of this, so it's not too strong. I'm going to make it here 59. Let's tap here to finish the selection. And in the end, we can just turn off this drawing assist line. Let's go to the actions menu, canvas, and turn off the drawing guide. And this illustration is finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you can share your drawing with me on Instagram. I would love to see it. And if you'd like to draw more with me, don't forget to check out my Patreon. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!